welcome to the Paper Snob. This is Tara. Today I will be working on Mix It Up Monday. This is a hop that is hosted by Anna over at Peacecraft Love and Kimberly at I'd Rather Be Scrapbooking. Yours truly has taken over the administration of this hop, but let's give our ladies some love and make sure that you check their channels that are listed down below. We have a really fun sketch that I found through Pinterest initially and then dug deep and found the blog where it originated. It is a sketch by Nanat, and I will have that blog linked below. The blog is no longer being used, so we're just going to link back to them to give them credit. Since this is nobody's original idea. And let's talk about what I'm going to use. On Mix It Up Monday, this is a hop where we take our regular scrapbooking up a notch by adding mixed media into the mix. And you can add paint, you can add texture paste, you could heat emboss, you could dry emboss, you can stencil with ink, you can do just about anything that you want as far as mixed media goes. I have chosen this gorgeous piece of pattern paper that is in my October counterfeit kit. It is a 49 in Market Art Options Elena pattern paper. This is the one that is called Dramatic. And as you can see, it already has that circular element that was in the sketch. And so I'm going to use this piece of pattern paper as my bouncing off point for mixed media. The very first thing I will do is I'm going to use some solar paste on here. I'm really hoping that this color shines on this paper pretty well. We'll see how it goes. I'm going to pull out a stencil. And then I have some various bits and pieces from my October counterfeit kit, including the laser die cuts from the same collection, some simple stories, ephemera pieces, my photo, some Prima type flowers. These are some title bits from Cocoa Vanilla Studios that I got at We Create back in September. And of course, this photo of myself, which will be trimmed down. So I'm going to go ahead and pause this video. I'm going to get the mixed media out and get started. I'll be right back. All right, first things first, I'm going to open up this little jar of solar paste, and I am going to use two stencils. I'm going to use the one that you see here, and then I'm going to use another one that is more like a falling leaves stencil, and I'm going to use it to fill in some gaps. So what I'm doing is I'm trying to use the curved bit. I do have it taped down to my pattern paper so that it doesn't move, but I'm also trying to be very careful to only use that curved one. And then I'm going to put another one on here using the same paste, of course, and then I'll move it again and put another one on. So here is where I'm going to bring in that second stencil. I think both of these stencils are by Delusion. I'm Diane Reevely, and I'm pretty sure of that. I'm not 100% sure, but I think both of them are. They're just leaf stencils that I've had for a little bit, and I just want to get some coverage on this white space on this pattern paper before we start layering up all of the stuff that I decide to put on this layout. All right, the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to bring in some really old crepe paper sprays, and I'm going to put some, it's actually kind of a coral color and a yellow splatters on this background. And then I'm going to set this background aside and allow it to dry overnight before I work on the actual layout. I'd also like to talk about the photo that I chose to scrapbook. This is a photo that my husband took of me one day when we decided to go hiking on our own. The kids didn't want to come. I think Seth had to work and Emily didn't want to come with us. So this is when we lived at Fort Drum, New York, and we drove out to the back of Post about an hour away, and we found something like 5 waterfalls to walk in, and then there was this cute little town with a park with the river running through, and it was just really beautiful, and we had a really nice day. And so my journaling is going to be about spending time with my husband, although he's not in the photo that I'm scrapbooking. Okay, so far what you have seen me do is I had a rather large piece of scrap paper, but not quite large enough to mat my entire photo. And I know that the original layout has some layers underneath the photo, and so I put them to the left of my photo after using my Tim Holtz distress tool to distress them a little bit. This time I chose not to distress my photo, and I'm going to just start sticking things under here. I've got that little bit of, it's part of the laser die cut pack, and it was used for another layout, and I just cut off what I didn't need, and so it's a scrap from a previous layout that I didn't want to throw away. I'm going to take this tag and I'm going to tuck it underneath my photo as well, because this is where my journaling is going to end up, is on this tag. And yes, it's going to end up in that slanted orientation. Now I'm just kind of auditioning the various pieces. I really wanted to use those cork pieces, and I didn't like where I stuck them just then, so I'm just setting them aside. And now I'm going to take some of these simple stories ephemera pieces, and I'm just going to start layering them up behind my photo. I'm just going to kind of play around a little bit and just tuck them here and there and try to make them work. I think this orange one actually gets left out because I don't like how it looks. And this here with the 2 leaves, I end up moving it to the other side because I don't like how it looks there either. So I think I'm going to have a embellishment cluster of ephemera up there in that top left corner. I'm going to stick some ephemera underneath my journaling tag, and then I'm going to take these 2 tickets. They both have words on them, but I'm going to tuck the words underneath the photo so that you can't see them. I'm also going to put a couple butterflies on here. I've already put that little teal one on there, and this is another laser cut die cut piece from the previous layout that I created with this collection. It was already punched out. I'm going to go ahead and place it down there on that journaling block. I know I'm going to use that little phrase there. It's going to end up in that top left embellishment cluster, but first I want to go ahead and get this title down. Now these letters, these little phrases, have the insides of the E's and the S's and stuff, and so I'm going to have to use my pokey tool to poke out those centers so that they're not on my layout anymore. So I'm going to title this layout These Days. I'm going to put the smaller word there, kind of layer it right there on the edge of my photo, and then days underneath it. I love these phrases. I think I got these at We Create in September, and I haven't, I don't think I have the collection that they go to, so they just ended up in my counterfeit kit for October, and that worked out really well. All right, I decided where I was going to get those little cork leafy bits. I'm going to layer those up, both of them, on that top embellishment cluster of ephemera. But first I want to get this butterfly on here. I had put some foam adhesive on the back of it, and I wanted to get that on there before I forgot it. And I'm going to tuck the second cork leafy bit under there. I love the different textures that I have in this layout. I've got paper, I've got glitter phrases. This is the only time you're going to see me use glitter, when it's already on something, and it's do not like loose glitter. If you know me, that you know that about me already. I'm going to take the time to get some of these edges glued down just a little bit better. I thought I had glued every piece down, but apparently that top corner was still was still kind of loose, and so I had to glue it down some more. the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to clear my space a little bit, and I'm going to add some of this bling here. These are little rhinestone pieces that a friend of mine gave me a long time ago. That friend of mine has now went on to be with Jesus, but when I pull out this little package of bling, I think of her all the time, and she is so missed. So I'm just going to tuck some of the rhinestones dots here and there around the butterflies and the floral ephemera. And I also discovered that one of the little tiny ones had come off onto my fingers, and I'm like, oh, well, let's try to get some more of these on here. So I'm going to add a couple of the little bitty tiny ones, and I really like like I said, I like the texture that I have going on here. I've got cork, I've got glitter, I've got rhinestones, I've got stuff tucked up on foam adhesive. So I like the texture and depth that's going on with my layout so far. The very last thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to bring in my white linen Delusions spray, and I'm going to add some white splatters all around my layout. I really like the look that this gives, and it makes me really happy to add just one more element of texture. Alright guys, I got this layout completely finished. I hope you can see where I took my inspiration from that sketch. I used a pre-done circular element, and I just added more mixed media and ink on top of it, plus all of my embellishments, my journaling, my title, and I popped some things up on foam tape like these butterflies. The rest of it is just kind of layered up in there and glued down. I want to thank you so much for coming to my channel today. I really appreciate those of you who take the time to like, comment, and or subscribe. I hope that you liked this video enough to subscribe if you're not a subscriber. If you have any comments or questions, please drop those below. You have a wonderful rest of your Monday and have a great week.